Hi guys, this is Molly at Juniper Knoll Farm. I was just figuring I'd make a little video for you all who are interested in maybe learning to show rabbits for yourself, or if you have kids who are thinking about doing 4-H. It's just something I wanted to share because this is why we personally have rabbits, and I just think it's neat to learn a little bit about what goes into judging rabbits and how we decide which rabbits we're going to be showing at the farm, because there's a lot that goes into it that you don't realize. This is one of our blue otter does. She's a senior. She just came back to us after being raised up by a friend who unfortunately couldn't keep her anymore. She is, like I said, a blue otter. Blue referring to this color of coat here that you're seeing. She does have some molting going on, which is the brown spot, but she's usually this nice rich blue, deep blue. Otter is the markings you see, the white and tan inside the ears, the white and tan on the chin, this eye here. And the belly is a cream, and it's not in this rabbit as much as it should be, but it should be outlined on the belly with a circle of tan, and those are good otter markings. That's what it's called. And then down by the genitals, sort of inside the thighs, if you will, there'll be a V of tan lap spots. My cats are fighting, so please excuse that. So that's where that... the lap spots are on the inside of the thigh, and that is also part of that otter marking. So when you're looking at Rex, and she's not going to want to face the camera, when you're looking at Rex, they are considered a dual purpose breed, and what that means is that they're judged on primarily two aspects. Those two aspects being fur, their fur quality, and body or type, which is how they are built. And these are what they're judged on because they were developed for fur and for meat originally. They're considered a commercial style breed. Originally, the first color of Rex was castor, which means beaver. And they kind of replaced the beaver pelts because it was more economical to breed rabbits than to, hunt beavers and get their pelts. And Rex fur, if you've never felt it, which you really should at some point or other, is absolutely amazingly soft. So that's why they were developed originally. Nowadays, not as many people use them for that purpose. We use them for show and for pets, but some people still do. But that's the qualities that they're judged on in show because that's what the breed was developed for originally. So for a commercial rabbit that's bred to have good meat qualities, you are measuring the qualities that make it have good meat to bone ratio because that's how you produce the most meat. Additionally, those same qualities also make them have good sized litters, which for economical purposes was good back when you needed a lot to be produced at one time. Fur is judged on density and texture, which would have made it really good for, pelts and coats and all of that. So that's the Rex breed. Starting at the head, Rex, like I said, are rabbits in general. When you're showing them, they're getting judged on almost everything you can imagine, which is kind of incredible what goes into it. Their head is supposed to be nice and broad. She has somewhat of a tapering head. You can see here it should be a little bit broader. You are also being judged on the eyes, how bright the eyes are, the color of the eyes. Sometimes you can't really see her color eyes because of the light here, but sometimes there are disqualifications of colors of eyes for certain colors of rabbit. You're being judged also on the ears on the head. And for Rex, you want a nice texture to the ears. What that really means is the thickness of the ears and how it allows it to stand. And this ear here is a little bit better than the left ear. She actually has some issues with that where you can kind of see how it kind of folds there. Yeah, there you go. You can see that. Her ears are a little too thin, and they should be a little thicker, which would allow them to stand up and fill out a little bit better overall. You want the ears to stand up nice and erect like this. Sometimes when it's hot out, rabbits' ears will sag like this, but if it's not just when it's hot out, it can be an actual problem down here, a defect where this is weak and it's not allowing the rabbit's ear to stand up naturally. Okay, so the head should be set back in, firmly into the shoulders. You don't want a lot of shoulder. You don't want head and then a space for the shoulder and then the body. You want the head and then what looks like the body. Now she's not set up properly because I can't do it one-handed right now. She just was not cooperating when I was fiddling with her earlier. But she has a pretty nice head that's, when she's set up, it's set back pretty firmly. To set up a rabbit for show, which is how you really have to judge them on their body type, there's kind of a conundrum going on right now in the Rex world. Commercial posing, you want the rabbit to kind of make this shape, a gradual rise around and down. But nowadays, a lot of people are scrunching their rabbits more into a ball shape where they rise more abruptly, come down, and they have almost a basketball shape to them. And it's kind of like an old and a new way of doing things, and a lot of people argue about it. And to me, I don't think it makes a huge difference. I think the ball shape looks better because when you have a nice rabbit and it's scrunched up like that, any good features are going to be exaggerated. It makes them appear very balanced, which is what you want in the Rex breed. When you have them out like this, you can't really, you can see they're good and they're bad, but it just isn't as aesthetically pleasing as the scrunched up ball-like thing that people are doing nowadays. And when they're in a ball, you can also see their faults more. If they have a long shoulder, they're not going to be in a ball well. They're not going to really look right. And you kind of have to see that for yourself. I know you're munching on me right now. No thanks. But, anyway, that's some contention that's going on. Rabbit drama, right? Rabbit drama. But when you're setting up a rabbit, you want their front feet to be even with their eyeball. You can actually, she's not, but you can take a pencil when you're setting up a rabbit and basically make a line to see if that's lining up well. And then you would she's getting cranky with me. But you would hold their head like this and scrunch their hind end under a little bit. Either way you did it, however much you choose to do it, how you choose to set up your breed or your rabbit. And the back feet, she's not, but you can see this hip bone here, this front part here. You want the front of the foot to line up with that, and you make a line, and on the back you want the highest point of the rabbit. See this curve, and it would be even more dramatic if I had her set up right. You would want the highest part of her back to be right here, line up with that front of the hip, and scoot that back a little, and the foot. And when you're looking at them, you want to feel behind their head, and you should be able to feel their just a little bit of shoulder, not much at all, if any. You want them to, the low part of their rise here, to start really right at the base of the ears. You don't want, again, that shoulder kind of stretched out thing going on. And she's really not wanting to be a good example for me right now. But you want that gradual rise. You can feel the shoulders. They shouldn't be narrow and pinched. You want to be able to go back and feel that the rib cage kind of is in line with that. You want the width to be about the same, not a dramatic narrowing like that. And the same with the hind end. You want them to curve over naturally, okay? And you see this part here, here's the hip, okay, or the knee essentially, where you were lining up before, right? This part here is called the loin, and you want that to be nice and full. When she's set up, she has a really nice loin. It's very full. A lot of rabbits have troubles with that, but you can see that, okay? And you want that to be nice and full. When you're looking at the rear view of a rabbit, you want it to essentially make a semicircle, okay? You want it to go like this. And you can see the loin here, right? So you want that nice and full to fill in that semicircle, where if you weren't stretching my love, my bunny bun, it's not working. But you don't want this. You want it to kind of be fuller here and make a nice semicircle. And on the back end, with her, you can't see it because she's got a skirt going on. But when you run your fingers down, you can actually feel their hind legs. And say these are the hind legs, okay? You want them to be an equal distance apart like that. Not pinched, because it creates a pinched back end. So that's a little bit about what you're looking for with the body type. You want their width, how wide they are from, like this, to equal their depth, or how tall they are from here to here. You want those to be about equal, and that makes for just a really aesthetically pleasing rabbit, and also helps to meet the goals of the Rex breed. Now, the other important part of Rex is their fur. Like I said before, they get judged on their fur quality, and that means their texture, how they feel when you move your hand across the fur, and their density, which is the amount of fur per square inch, which when you do this, when you go like that, the hair, you want it to spring right back up and not leave as much of an indent. She does leave some indent because she is lacking a little bit in density. Her fur texture is really, really soft. It's actually a little too soft because my hand slips a little bit, but that's not a surprise. Her mom has that really nice fur, and she is shedding like crazy. But that's what you're looking for as far as fur density. Some rabbits even have bands in their fur. So when you're looking for that, you blow on your hand, you bring your hand forward and blow on it, and you can actually see, not really on her, but there might be bands of color in there depending on what kind of rabbit she is. And some of those bands of color are part of the standard of a rabbit's when they're being judged, the color standards. And you can breed for that color. There's a lot of genes that decide the color in Rex. It's actually pretty complicated when you're getting into rabbits. It's a learning curve. So anyway, this doe, like I said, she came back to us from Maine. She was with a friend for a while. She won 2 legs in show, so we're hoping that someday we'll get her last one, and she'll get her grand championship, but we'll see how she does. She may end up just being a nice brood doe at some point for us. But this is kind of, what goes into rabbit showing and judging, and even the toenail color is judged. And if you have a mismatched toenail or a white toenail when it's supposed to be colored, those can be disqualifications or faults in showing where you get points counted against you. So there's really a lot that goes into it, and we take a lot of that into consideration, especially when we are evaluating our litters. So sometimes when you see a rabbit for sale that we say pet only on, it means, they might have a wrong colored toenail, or it might have some fur that is the wrong color, and it might seem overly picky to somebody who's not showing. But that's just how particular the breed is and the standard is, and a lot of what they're judged on. So just something to keep in mind if you're interested in showing rabbits. If you have a kid in 4-H, we'd be happy to get you set up with a few. Would you not eat that? Because it doesn't taste good, I promise. We'd be happy to get you set up with a pair of rabbits. We'd be happy to meet you at a show sometime if you wanted to watch kind of what goes on. or if you get rabbits from us and you need help at a show, we're still new. Again, we're not experts on this yet, but we'd be happy to teach you what we do know. Rex people are some of the best people at shows, in my opinion. Really friendly group of people for the most part. So we hope you like the video. Hope you learned something, and yeah, enjoy.